Admission to the intellectual schools is carried out on a competitive basis in order to identify students who are capable of studying subjects of natural and mathematical sciences. The methodology of the student selection system was developed in 2013 in joint cooperation with the strategic partners of the Autonomous Educational Organization, Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools, Institute for Educational Measurements, CITO, the Netherlands, and the Center for Talented Youth at Johns Hopkins University, CTY, USA. According to international experts, students who are capable of studying subjects of natural and mathematical sciences are characterized by a high level of functional literacy, reading literacy, and mathematical and logical thinking. In 2019, the pupils of secondary schools studying according to the updated content of education are going to participate in the student selection system. The President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, noted in his nation address new opportunities under the Fourth Industrial Revolution from January 10, 2018. In secondary education, we have launched a transition to updated content and will complete it in 2021. The updated contents are modern curricula which meet international standards and have been approbated in Nazarbayev intellectual schools. The integration of the updated curriculum is focused on the development of a wide range of skills and the achievement of the consistent learning goals by students. This required a revision of the content and format of selection system to enter intellectual schools, allowing to identify students' abilities to effectively master the content of the NIS program, be successful throughout the entire period of studying at intellectual school, solve applied problems in many areas of academic education. Student selection test is held in 2 days. On the first day, students take the ability test to study subjects of natural and mathematical sciences, which consists of sections for mathematic and quantitative reasoning. This test is aimed at assessing functional and mathematical literacy, assessing the ability to see the relationship between numbers, operate on the basis of mathematical and logical thinking, data interpretation capabilities in the form of pictures, graphs, and diagrams. On the second day, students take the language test in Kazakh, Russian, and English, which tests reading literacy, that is, the ability to understand and analyze written texts and illustrations. The compilation of tests for student selection process consists of several stages: the development, expertise, and approbation of test items, the design of test versions, proofreading and making layout of test booklets. Test items are developed by the experts who have been trained on specific workshops. The developed items undergo a multi-stage examination by both test specialists and native speakers. The item type, the location of item by difficulty level, learning objectives, absence of gender bias is considered in test design. Comparable level of difficulty between test versions should be achieved by test design as well. Studies of foreign partners have confirmed the high efficiency and reliability of student selection system. Item bank contains all necessary information of test item like item type, difficulty level, discriminative features, and other psychometric statistical data. All developed test items are stored on secure server of strategic partner in order to keep them safe and confidential.
NIS selection test is really a unique and special example of best practice in educational assessment. When we started to develop this test together with subject experts and staff of NIS, we decided that we really had to start from scratch, new. We asked ourselves, do we select the right students in the right way? We were looking for students that have highest potential to be successful in NIS. And that is not always the same as students that show the best reproduction of knowledge they learned in grade 5 and grade 6. So CITO could use its expertise of more than 40 years developing an end of primary education test in the Netherlands. Using this experience, we could help NIS to jointly build a selection test. To be sure that we do that with high confidentiality and, of course, according to high international standards, we also use special software for statistical analysis. Looking back now, I can say with full belief, yes, we do select the right students in the right way for a successful career at Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools.
The enrollment order to the intellectual schools consists of several stages. Registration is necessary for participation in intellectual schools student selection tests. Candidates can submit their documents to Admission Committee of Intellectual School. All information on the list of documents, dates of registration, and the address of intellectual schools are posted on the official website of the Autonomous Educational Organization of Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools and published in mass media. After registration, the applicant has time for preparation for testing. Test samples could be found on the website of the organization. Also, applicants can get acquainted with the format of answer sheets. In addition, all candidates have an opportunity to take trial student selection test to enter grade 7 of intellectual schools. The trial test is conducted by all selection test sections on a paid basis at computers in intellectual schools. The selection test takes part in 2 days. All applicants have to participate in both days of testing. Ability test to study subjects of natural and mathematical sciences lasts for 90 minutes. The mathematics contains 40 test items for 60 minutes. The quantitative reasoning contains 60 items for 30 minutes. Language test lasts 120 minutes. Each of Kazakh, Russian, and English contains 20 test items. The testing takes place at the intellectual school. Just before the beginning of testing, applicants are registered upon arrival on the test and accompanied by the staff of school to take the individual seats in testing rooms. Each seat has a number which corresponds to a number of the applicant's entry permission. At the entrance to the school, each applicant is checked for restricted articles. During the testing, having cell phones, calculators, dictionaries, reference literature, rulers, cases, correction fluids, scratch papers, and other auxiliary devices is restricted. The applicant should have only a black ball pen, the entry permission for testing, and a bottle of water without label. Testing rooms are prepared beforehand, where all requirements are maintained according to the international standards, from distance between the tables to the sizes of the clocks. During the testing, each testing room has its test administrator and invigilators. Outside the room, the discipline is kept by hall monitors. For test observation, the international experts are invited. The whole testing procedure is streamed for all parents and representatives of applicants. After completion of scanning procedures, all answer sheets are transferred to secure server of strategic partner CITO, the Netherlands. Candidates' test results are processed by CITO using automated software in anonymized form without indication of personal data. Final test results of candidates are calculated by the software, which entirely excludes all possible errors and guarantees equal possibilities to all candidates.
Scoring and analysis of the students' answers on the test. Everything is done by computer. We do not have teachers or people at CTY or CTO making judgments on the students' answers. Everything is machine scored. I feel that CTY is very open about what they're doing with the whole process in terms of how we construct our tests, how the tests are administered, how the tests are scored and analyzed. I've had an opportunity to just from the sidelines observe some classes, visit some schools, and it seems that the selection process that's been used for the past couple of years is identifying a really top level of student. The work that I see in the schools is really high ability. The students are meeting the expectations of learning in 3 different languages, of being able to compete on the international level in different kinds of Olympiads and other international tests.
Final lists with candidates' final results are generated by CITO specialized database and can be downloaded in electronic and hard versions. The candidates' list in electronic version is placed on the secure CITO server for further publication on the official website of Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools. CITO experts sign the hard version of the lists and hand them to Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools for storage. High international standards of student selection system, scientifically based approach and computerized data processing gives full confidence in an objective and qualitative assessment of test results, which eliminates the need for an appeal. In 40 days after the student selection test, the results are published on the official website of Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools in the For Applicants section. On the base of the test results, the candidates who scored 35% and more out of maximum possible score in mathematics and 40% and more out of maximum possible score on quantitative reasoning are allowed for consideration of the Republican Commission for further award of an educational scholarship. Following the results of the selection process, the Republican Commission awards a scholarship to the candidates who have gained higher total score on entire selection test within the number of available vacant places for each intellectual school. In case if candidates have equal total score on selection tests, the candidate with a higher score in mathematics has a privilege. In case of candidates have equal scores in mathematics, the candidate with a higher score in quantitative reasoning has a privilege. In case of candidates have equal scores in mathematics and quantitative reasoning, the candidate with higher score in language of instruction, first language, has a privilege. The list of scholarship holders is published on the official website of Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools.